Hey, what's going on, everybody? How's it going tonight? Happy Thursday to you and pre-weekend. Texas Redleg here, coming to you from the great free state of Texas, currently. Wanted to do a little bit different video tonight and sort of talk about the current situation with regards to the pinch and the fallout from the pinch and other things that sort of you can see the writing on the wall with currently. And it reminded me of some times earlier in my life where I experienced some of these things that I think may be coming to a town near you very soon, in the form of what I'm really talking about is in the form of restrictions and limits to movement. See, back in the late 80s, I was stationed in Germany during the Cold War with the Army. And, it was still the Cold War going on, so we had a lot of tense times and adversaries and active enemies and a lot of propaganda and a lot of spying and things of that nature. So there were a lot of restrictions and limits to movement, even in a free country such as Germany. And back then, of course, all the European nations had borders. So you went to Austria or Holland or France, you had to go through a guarded checkpoint. And when the wall came down, a lot of that changed. But it brings me to one point regarding restrictions and limits to movement, and ties in with the pinch. So it already appears that they're coming out with ways to deal with non-vaxxers and or reward vaxxers. So it looks like the lines are being drawn on a lot of this stuff politically and bureaucratically, to where you're going to have to prove your acceptance of the pinch in order to have, I would say, allowable movement. Flying, buses, trains, planes, trains, whatever. And so likely you're going to probably see checkpoints to prove this sort of thing. And they've got a really short time to implement all this stuff. So I would start paying attention to the velocity at which these things are happening. So are they going to want to see papers? Are they going to want to do chips? Are they going to want to do barcodes? What are they going to want to do? If you have everybody running around with, a card, that's going to take, 5 minutes to counterfeit, so you'll just probably be able to go buy yourself a card, and there's more than one way to skin a cat, right? So restrictions and limits to movement, checkpoints. Are you going to have papers? Are you going to be chipped? Are you going to have a barcode or some other type of identifier that, officially lists you as, having gotten the pinch? So what's next after that? Well, again, reminding me of my time in Germany and Europe during the Cold War and at the end of the Cold War. In Germany in particular, we had rationing. So when you went to the commissary or the class 6 or maybe a little gas station that they had on post, and you wanted to buy some liquor or some tobacco or some coffee or tea, a lot of these things were rationed. So you had a card that was issued to you when you came into country, and every time you would purchase one of those items, they either crossed it out or punched a hole in it, that particular, allotment for the month or week or whatever. I can't remember how many it was, but it was only so much per year that you could buy. And that was because of black marketing. The black market was huge over there. And, Germans were paying, gosh, out the wazoo as far as taxes go on coffee, liquor, tobacco, all this stuff. All the sin items were highly taxed over there. And so number one, they loved to get their hands on American stuff. And number two, they loved not to have to pay exorbitant amount of import taxes on it, on their economy. So the military would give us these ration cards, and we could only buy so much per year, and that was to prevent out of control black marketing. And, I could see something like that with the food shortages being implemented here. So easy. So easy. I wouldn't doubt it for a second. But like I said, they've got a short time to implement all this stuff if they can continue their stranglehold on power, which with, mail-in voting being a regular thing now, there's a good chance that's going to happen for them. But something to think about, something to ponder, and preppers, we are ahead of the game. We typically go out and we're stocked and we're ready. And I don't think it's even hoarding. I think it's just the amount of stuff that preppers have on hand just, builds up over time because we're out there doing the things, Now, you have the ill-prepared that run out and they'll buy a picket bed full of toilet paper at one time because they're unprepared, That's hoarding. So, in order to prevent hoarding or, black marketing or whatever, I could see them instituting some type of rationing program here, especially with the food shortage. If you want to believe all this, that it's true, and it probably is in a lot of places. I could definitely see them implementing some type of rationing system for sure. It would be pretty easy to do, but like I said, they've got a short time to get it done. And again, a lot of this stuff, it's conditioning, with COVID. That was sort of a nice pilot run for them, and will they stay home? Can we keep them home? Are they going to riot? Are they going to, fight back? Most people just laid down and took it, Oh, do what the government tells you. They're so righteous and pure. They know what's best for us, right? So I would just be extra prepared so that, you don't have to partake in that. And I do not understand how people out there in the world can have such scales on their eyes and not able to see what's going on. You keep hearing this term that you will own nothing and you will be happy. What they've done is they've conditioned people to accept mediocrity or limits on things or movement or free time or income. And it's all tying into, I firmly believe, this great reset, they call it. And they have to have, they have to ease things in to society, or they probably would have an absolute anarchy situation on their hands. The problem is that people keep seeing what they're doing, but they're so in their phone or into their Kim Kardashian or whatever, whatever is popular now. They're all into that versus paying attention, and they just don't care. And so those people are just sheep, and they're just destined to be victims, and that's just probably what they'll be, and that's okay. I mean, it's unfortunate, but Some people are just going to be that, and that's just all there is to it. And I would encourage you not to waste your time on those people, because they're just going to have to learn the hard way, and that's just how some people have to learn. But anyway, restrictions, limits to movement, checkpoints, wanting to see papers, evidence of your, the pinch, and any other required pinches that are coming after that. Or, I don't know, it could be some type of, I don't know, maybe it's red shoe day where you got to wear red shoes. Who knows? I mean, it could be anything. Rationing, I expect that could be a very, very doable thing for the governments of the world, no matter the location. Rationing is a pretty easy thing to implement, especially when the government is controlling all of the availability, the stockpiles, etc., etc., etc. So, I don't know. What do you guys think? Please chime in and let me know what you think about this. But again, it really reminds me of my time in Germany and the things that we went through, going through gates and, all that. Even, people in uniform were even checked, their IDs were checked, and there was no messing around. They were checking under cars for bombs and all kinds of stuff with these little mirrors on poles, I mean, most anybody that was ever stationed over there in Germany or Europe probably remembers doing that, at some point in time. And I'm not sure if they did it I'm sure they did it in South Korea and, Japan and stuff too for the other American forces on those posts. I think the ration card thing was probably a big deal worldwide, but it definitely was something that we did in Germany and Europe. There's no doubt about that. I certainly remember it. But anyway, I hope everybody is amped up for a good weekend. Hopefully you can knock out some preps and fill some holes if you need to. Don't forget the Freedom Seeds and the Sin items. Don't forget to hit the old liquor store if you need something, if you're low, and maybe top those off too. Good barter items as well. So with that, everybody have a great weekend. If I don't see you, please like, share, and subscribe. I love the interaction, love the comments. Please don't be a stranger. So with that, keep prepping, stack it deep, and long live the Republic.